Leafs fan Craig wants to know if the Leafs are able to sign Tanev, DeMello, and Gudas in free agency,
Mhm.
obviously with some salary cap trades, is that a legitimate defense group? He lists the pairings: Riley Tanev, Muzzin DeMello, Sandin Gudas,
Where's
Lettinen
Dermott?
as the spare.
Dermott's the spare?
As Lettinen as a spare.
Where's Dermott?
That
Shipped
must have
off
been a
to
trade.
somewhere.
I mean,
think
what
You
if
guys-
the Leafs? What if the Leafs go out and sign an entire right side? Like, this is why, dude.
well, they'll probably have to.
I love the imagination, but like, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if they were able to go out and not just sign an entire right side, but a right side of that quality. Gudas is probably going to get a lot of money. Tanev's probably going to get a lot of money. DeMello is going to be cheap, but he's going to get more money than he was given. You're talking about that's like what, a dozen mil?
Maybe.
It's probably between 10 and 12.
Well, you got to
like
get
that
rid of
for
Hall.
those three.
Hall, Dermott, Kerfoot, and Janssen are probably gone to make that happen.
That sounds not fun.
Well, it doesn't sound bad. It's just I don't know that you need to get rid of Justin Hall at $2 million a year. I mean, I think he's a good. I think Justin Hall better suited on the third pair. He's great with Muzzin, but I think that's because Jake Muzzin's very good and Justin Hall shoots right. I think if you were to look at what you really need to look at there, you don't necessarily need to trade Justin Hall. I think you can look at. I'll be honest with you. I really like Chris Tanev and have for a long, long time. The only thing I have an issue with is the fact that he's got a pretty bad injury history, but he played really well this year and was relatively healthy. Chris Tanev, what he brings off the ice is an older guy, like 30, who's tougher. And also, like, they did features on him in the playoffs and what a great teammate he is. I think the Leafs could use a little of that in their room. And I think that he's a son of a bitch to play against. No one likes playing against Chris Tanev. So if you got Tanev Riley, there's something solved. If you had to go Hall Muzzin, well, there's Muzzin who you don't want to play against. And let's say you get Radko Gudas, who was a 6'7" guy with the Caps, but the Leafs defense is easily thinner. I mean, the Caps have a Norris Trophy nominee on their defense. But if you have Gudas as your 6'7" guy and you've got, I don't know, if you've got Dermott drawing in, if you got Sandin drawing in, you got Lettinen in there as well. You have the opportunity to have a bastard literally out there every shift. Just an SOB to play against every shift. A guy where you need to keep your head up every shift. So to me, I bring it down to, if I can keep Chris Tanev in the lineup for 60 games with my great medical staff, which the Leafs do have, and if I can keep Radko Gudas from going Radko Gudas on people most nights, if I can have him playing the edge that we need him to play, but not cost the team, which is what he's been accused of, rightly so, in the past. I like that a lot. And you don't have to give up as much. Like, I still don't know. Andreas Janssen is a big question mark for me because, you could argue that you may have to, trade his contract or trade Kerfoot's contract to make something like that happen. And the question is, if you do trade Kerfoot and he is a center, what do you do there? Janssen seems a more tradable thing, but then who wants him after a knee injury? One of those guys has got to go for my scenario to even happen. I think you need two of those three. And I think, TJ Brody, everybody talks about, would be a great fit with the Leafs, and I agree. But he's not. You've got Morgan Riley already. I need a little bit more fight. I need a little bit more. I hate playing against this guy. And TJ Brody's not a shrinking violet, but he's not Chris Tanev, right? Is that fair?
No, but like, I think there's something to the idea of bolstering something the Leafs already have.
Mm-hmm.
Their left side on D is pretty good. They got Riley, they got Muzzin, and then their third pair, I would like to see it be Sandin. I'd like Dermott to take a step. I just don't know if it's there. Because I'm looking at Tampa, and I'm like, dude, their right side is off the scrap heap. Outside of Cernak, they got Shattenkirk, who I think was bought out, Bogosian, who I think was bought out, and Luke Shen, who I think was bought out. But then Anthony Petrelli, though, Adam, made a great point on Twitter. He's like, the reason that works is because on the left of all those guys is Hedman, McDonough, Sergachev.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe they go out and they get a really good left guy because it's easier to get. I don't know what it is. But I don't think the answer is signing an entire right side.
I also don't think that you can make this decision on the left side when it comes to Dermott before camp. Rasmus Sandin, as much as everybody loves him, and it's a fair thing. He's been very, very good. Hasn't stuck in the lineup. And
they made a mistake burning the first year of his contract.
I think so. Sure.
That was a mistake.
But they did it and whatever. But regardless of how that works out, that's a couple years down the road. You can't think like that right now. I think Rasmus Sandin's got to step up. He's got to take that spot away from Travis Dermott. And it's now time to take the kid gloves off. He's had a couple years to develop. Now it's like, are you in or are you out? And if Rasmus Sandin can't beat Travis Dermott to that spot, and Travis Dermott already drives you nuts with some of the shit that he pulls, even though you know the skill's there, one day you feel like this player is going to put it together. I don't think you can get rid of him. I don't think you can.
Would you rather have – here's one. Who would you rather have in your third pair? Justin Hall making $2 million or Timothy Liljegren trying to figure it out?
Justin Hall. I know what
At
Justin
what point does he become trade fodder?
When Timothy Liljegren steps up.
I mean Liljegren. At what point does he become?
Well, I don't think people put a lot of value in him. Like it's sort of like I think he's got the William Nylander thing where he's probably better than people rate him as. But a lot of people just don't put any value on what he brings yet. I think Liljegren is going to be an NHL player. And I think he's going to be a top 4D somewhere and maybe in Toronto. And I want him to step up. But at a certain point, Sandin and Liljegren, it's like, guys, are you here? Are you coming in or are you not? Because if you're not better than Travis Dermott, then you don't deserve to be in the lineup. Fair? He's the sixth guy.
He needs to take a step so bad, man.
He does, and I feel like he can. I feel like he can. He's got some time to figure it out. We don't know when the next season's going to be.
This is it. This is it for him. This is it.
Was he going to be 23, 24 now?
He's still not even going to be that old. And, like, he had a season coming off of injury, but, like, we're in unprecedented times. And every year, you can count on the Leafs improving from within because they're so young. Matthews is going to get better with time. Marner is going to get better with time. Nylander's still getting better with time, I think. Dermott's 23 in December. He'll be 24. So he'll be 24 roughly around the beginning of this season.
So we should know. But I don't think everybody that's like, well, we can trade Travis Dermott. I don't think you're going to get fair value, and I just don't think you know yet.
I also see everything I want in a Leafs player in him. It's just his decision making is wild.
Yep.
He's not fun. He's fit. He's fast. He's creative.
Good teammate, fun guy.
Good teammate, fun guy. Good off the ice. Just makes wacky decisions with that puck, man.
So that's the question. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that watch a lot of Marlies hockey are going to be all over me saying, well, Sandy's ready. Until they prove it to the coaching staff. And he might be, but it hasn't happened yet. So all we can go on is based on what we have, but what we know. And what we know is that Sandin has not taken a spot from Travis Dermott. And guess who knows them both really well?
Who?
Sheldon Keefe.
There it is.
He doesn't just watch tape. He's played them. He's deployed them. He knows. So
give me a third pair of Rasmus Lily. Come on.
That would be amazing. And then you only have to find one.
If they're good,
Yeah, and then, the other thing, right, Jesse? Like, the thing is that are they tough enough?
Yeah.
And I know I hate asking that because I hate being that guy, but the Leafs aren't tough enough. We know that.
Yeah, you can't put them out there and then they get pummeled every time,
Right.
You can't get their faces caved in.
No.
So, even if you have a rotation and you'd have a taxi squad, or the Leafs have run it so close in the past that they literally have to send guys down to make sure they can save some cap space. But if you don't spend to the cap this year, if you're the Leafs, and you can have Lettinen, Liljegren, Sandin, and Dermott, and you can rotate guys in, or say Gudas in there somewhere, you have some combination of that. you can actually figure out who the best ones are. And then at the trade deadline, look at moving somebody else.